You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 24th day of September, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first one is private. It's for members only and those taking our 1-week free trial. That's our live training room. When that broadcast ends at 11:30 a.m. Eastern every trading day, we take a 30-minute break and come back for the afternoon broadcast, this broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere, on planet Earth, with an internet-connected device. Now, if you've never been in the live training room, never taken the free trial, go to mytradingiq.com. At the top of the page, there's a link that spells it out. 5-day free trial, no credit card required. Hit the purple button, fill out the registration form, hit submit, and then we'll swing into action, get your desktop set up, get your indicators indicating, and then your trial will officially start the following day. Now, I know tomorrow is Wednesday, so that doesn't mean you're only going to get 3 days. You get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend or a holiday. So never worry about what day of the week or weekend or even hour of the day that you signed up for the trial. Once we have you all ready to go, then you're going to get 5 consecutive trading days. Okay? Very good. Our daily schedule for the afternoon broadcast start with our devotional, word of prayer, a little news, recap of the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts. About 50 minutes into the broadcast, Michael will join us, give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live trading room. And then we'll go live on the TradingView platform, do some live trading for about a half an hour. And then we'll wrap things up with our good word for the day. Now, the topic of our devotion this week, which we started yesterday. So this is day 2. Sermon on the Mount, a blueprint for life. Our scripture today, Matthew 5, verses 21 through 26. I'm going to share it with you from the Message translation. Starting in verse 21. You're familiar with the command to the ancients. Do not murder. I'm telling you that anyone who is so much as angry with a brother or sister is guilty of murder. Carelessly call a brother idiot, and you just might find yourself hauled into court. Thoughtlessly yell stupid at a sister, and you're on the brink of hellfire. A simple moral fact is that words kill. This is how I want you to conduct yourself in these matters. If you enter your place of worship and about to make an offering, you suddenly remember a grudge a friend has against you. Abandon your offering, leave immediately, go to this friend and make things right. Then and only then, come back and work things out with God. Or say you're out on the street and an old enemy accosts you. Don't lose a minute. Make the first move. Make things right with him. After all, if you leave the first move to him, knowing his track record, you're likely to end up in court, maybe even jail. If that happens, you won't get out without a stiff fine. Again, Matthew 5, verses 21 through 26, from the Message translation. So, the devotion this week, Sermon on the Mount, probably the single most famous sermon ever preached by Jesus himself. What this devotion does over the course of the week is it gives you a blueprint for life. Today, one of the toughest things, love your enemies. Think about all the conflict going on in the world today. What would happen if everyone just followed that simple command? Love your enemies. Be a much different world. Perhaps the most natural instinct we have is to love our friends and family, but to hate our enemies, or those who have done wrong against us. This was reflected in the lives of first century Jewish leaders who took a verse about loving your neighbor and assuming it meant hating your enemy. But here, Jesus is introducing the new covenant, a new kingdom, a new way of living, and he's raising the bar. Jesus is changing the narrative of how things were then to how they should be now. As followers of Jesus, we are called to be a direct reflection of God himself. And God is love. It is his very nature. When you love your enemies, you reveal what kind of God our God is. Who is your enemy? Someone who opposes you, hurts you, hates you. There are three key words in this scripture that illuminate what the love of Jesus and his followers are to look like. First word is love. Love in our culture and society today is based on emotion, a feeling. Biblical love is a decision and can often go against our first natural reaction or response. Love is the essence of the Christian faith. Love says, in spite of what you do to or say to me, I will love and do good. Jesus is always the perfect example of this. When he was beaten and mocked, he said not a word, and later said on the cross, Father, forgive them. How can we love like this. Understand these people are God's creation, and God loves them. Understand we were once enemies of God, and while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Second word, bless. To bless means to speak well of. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. If your heart hates, your words will be hateful. If you love and forgive, your words will be kind. You will bless and speak well of others. And word number 3, pray. Sometimes the only way we can love, bless, and forgive our enemies is to pray for God's help. Pray for God's strength to love and forgive our enemies. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you with humble hearts, reflecting on the words of Jesus in Matthew 5. Help us to turn away from anger and seek reconciliation with one another. Guide us to live in peace, always quick to forgive, and eager to restore broken relationships, just as you have forgiven us. And Lord, as America approaches the upcoming elections, just a few days, we ask for your wisdom to guide our nation. Help us to elect leaders who pursue justice, righteousness, and unity. May your peace reign in our hearts and across this country. And may we, as your people, shine as examples of grace and love in these very challenging times. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. And happy Tuesday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow is up a whopping 26 points. The NASDAQ's up 109. S&P 500 is up 12. The Russell 2000, our man in the street, is only up a half a point. Now, does that mean we might see a change in the direction of the market for the close today? It's possible. Okay. There's never any one index that moves first all the time. Sometimes the Dow will lead the way, sometimes the S&P, sometimes the Russell, sometimes the NQ. The Russell 2000, that represents 2,000 small cap companies. So sometimes the Russell does a pretty good job of leading the rest of the market. In the commodity basket, crude oil up $1.18, trading 71.55 last. That's a gain of over 1.5%, almost 1.75%, or $1,190 per contract traded. Gold up $18, trading 26.70 last. Silver up $1.09, trading 32.17 last. That's a gain of 3.5%, or $5,000 $1,000 per contract traded. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 216 points. The Shanghai gained 114. And for the Shanghai, that's a gain of over 4%. The Hang Seng gained 753 points. Again, a gain over 4%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE posted a gain of 23 points. The DAX rose 149, which is pretty close to 1%. CAC gained 95, which is a little over 1.25%. So that gave us a green day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And at the moment, it is a green Radio Tuesday here in the US of A. But that Russell, a little worrisome that it doesn't even have a full 1 point in the green. Still sitting at about half a point. So we'll see what happens between now and the end of the broadcast. News. Nearly 500 people, including 35 children and 58 women, were killed in southern and eastern Lebanon after Israel launched hundreds of airstrikes yesterday on the area's deadliest day of attacks since Israel's war with Hezbollah militants in 2006. At least 1,600 people were also wounded yesterday, according to Lebanon's health ministry. The casualty count does not distinguish between civilians and militants. Israel said it struck roughly 1,300 Iran-backed Hezbollah targets in Lebanon, which shares borders with Israel to the south and Syria to the northeast. Civilians have also been ordered to evacuate from areas near the conflict. At least 60,000 people have been displaced from Israel's side of the border, while roughly 100,000 have been displaced from Lebanon. Fears of an all-out conflict in the Middle East continue to grow. U.S. Pentagon announcing it is sending additional troops to the region. Guys, this is no joke. We may be about to find ourselves in World War III. If somebody somewhere doesn't do something quick, I mean, that appears to be inevitable. The U.S. Navy has not seen as much action since World War II. And they're just trying to keep the Red Sea clear so that civilian shipping vessels can get through. And recruitment is at an all-time low. Kind of hard to fight a war without soldiers. Well, you know how they do it in Russia. They call them conscripts. Now, we used to have the draft, which is kind of the same thing. But over there, it's a little different, a little more brutal. Some of you in this audience fought in Vietnam. You were 18 years old. You got 9 weeks of training. Depending on the branch, maybe 13 weeks of training. And then all of a sudden, you were dropped out of the belly of a Huey in a rice paddy. And people were shooting real bullets at you. Well, God, we pray that it doesn't come to that again. Consumer confidence sees its largest decline in more than 3 years. Consumer confidence tumbled in September as Americans grew increasingly worried about a cooling labor market. The latest index reading from the Conference Board was 98.7, below the 105.6 seen in August, and lower than what the 104 economists surveyed by Bloomberg expected. Drop in consumer confidence from August to September was the largest decline since August of 2021. Consumers' assessments of current business conditions turned negative, while views of the current labor market situation softened further. I mean, let's face it, with millions of people crossing the border, they're going to do one of two things: begin their life of crime, or go look for a job. So any jobs out there are going to dry up real quick, especially those entry-level type jobs, perhaps manual labor type jobs, assembly jobs, those types of jobs. Consumers are less positive about future business conditions and future income. Now, China has made a move. Their central bank today unveiled its biggest stimulus since the pandemic to pull the economy out of its deflationary funk and back towards the government's growth target. But analysts warned more fiscal help was vital to hit these goals. The broader than expected package, offering more funding and interest rate cuts, marks the latest attempt by policymakers to restore confidence to the world's second largest economy after a slew of disappointing data raised concerns of a prolonged structural slowdown. But analysts are questioning just how productive the People's Bank of China's liquidity injections will be, given extremely weak credit demand from businesses and consumers, and noted the absence of any policies aimed at supporting real economic activity. This is the most significant PBOC stimulus package since the early days of the pandemic, but on its own, it just may not be enough. However, as we saw, huge numbers out of Asia. I mean, we had two of the indexes up. What was it over? Here, let me look again real quick. The Shanghai up over, that's China, up over 4%. The Hang Seng up over 4%. So yes, that initial injection, okay, it's kind of like our Fed day, although we had a weird Fed day this time. It was the following day that we got the bump. Asia got the bump today. We'll see if that bump hangs on till tomorrow. TikTok has removed accounts associated with Russian state media for engaging in covert influence operations ahead of the U.S. presidential election. The short-form video sharing company said Monday the changes affect accounts associated with TV Novosti, parent organization of the Russian state media, RT, the entity behind Kremlin news agencies. U.S. Department of Justice has said that Moscow remains the primary threat to elections, even as a hack by Iran this year has also targeted the presidential campaigns of both political parties. U.S. officials in recent months have used criminal charges, sanctions, and public advisories to detail action taken by foreign adversaries to influence the election, including an indictment targeting a covert Russian effort to spread pro-Russia content to U.S. audiences. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that China and Russia would both much rather have Kamala in the Oval Office than Donald Trump. So there's a whole lot of noise, a whole lot of smoke screens, and come on. I mean, seriously, who in their right mind thinks that Russia or China wants Trump back in the Oval Office? Because he'll stand up to them. Kamala will circle back, and we'll have some discussions, and we'll all mow our lawns, right? Yeah. That's a little freaky, but it is what it is. And that's the news. All right, here we go on this fine Tuesday. We're in week 321 of Logic 247. It's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, but also crude and gold and silver and euro and bonds. Over the last 321 weeks, we have issued over 17,900 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged is 20% or less on a weekly basis being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. So 320 weeks, over 17,900 individual alerts. But since the market opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, this week we've issued so far 19 alerts, still waiting on the outcome of 5. Now, Valerie did this recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. So some of these 5 may have resolved themselves already. She'll update the recap this afternoon, about 3 o'clock, sometime between 3 and 5 usually. So that gives us 14 actionable alerts on the week, of which 3 or 21% would have been stopped out, again, based on market structure and that very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. Yesterday, we were sitting at 30%, so back down almost to our average of 20% or less over the last 321 weeks. 17,900 individual alerts. Now, the logic alerts are not designed so that you can just trade them and not have to learn how to trade. They're designed to help you learn how to read a chart, okay? Because before you can really learn how to trade, you got to be able to read a chart. You need to be able to look at any chart of any market, 30 minutes or larger, and instinctively know what the next high probability move is. Until you can do that, it's going to be very difficult to actually learn how to trade. The logic alerts come with an entry price, an initial target, quite often additional targets, and then a final trade to target. As you receive the logic alerts, simply draw horizontal lines on your 30-minute chart at the entry price, at the initial target, at any additional targets. The final trade to target will always be the weekly zone above on a long, the weekly zone below on a short. And as you repeat this process over and over, within a couple weeks, you'll know exactly where to expect support and resistance based on the structure of the market and on alerts that have sometimes 3, 4, 5, or even more targets. Once price exceeds one target, then you've got a window of opportunity to the next target. And if that target gets exceeded, then you've got a window of opportunity to the next target. Again, the whole purpose of the logic alerts is to help you learn to read the chart so that you can learn how to trade. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. Now, long before we had the logic alerts, we had the concierge trade alerts. And they're different. They don't come out around the clock. They're published as a static report shortly after the Globex open. Now, if you're a member or a trial member, you need to read all this information up here. It helps you understand how to use these targets. The point I'm making is that 10 minutes after the Tuesday session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, all of our members, all of our trial members, had every one of these targets. Okay? So, members, trial members, make sure you study this. And if you have any questions, be sure to ask. Now, let's take a look at where we're at on the daily chart. Trying to put in a new all-time historic high. Now, we just put in a new all-time historic high on the 19th at 57.97.5. We had two just kind of sideways consolidation days. That would be Friday. That would be yesterday, Monday. Here's today, Tuesday. And the high so far is 57.93.5. So over here we got 97.5. Over here we got 93.5. So we came within 4 points of hitting the all-time historic high, which just so happens to be where the 62% fib extension is. This low to this high to this retracement low. That provides you with your fib extensions. So the 62, if we crack that, then we'll be watching out for the move to 100. If we're not able to take out this high, then we got to start thinking about what's below us. If we get a double top up here, then most likely we're going to see price retrace back to the BBC. And any economic reports that come out or any world news, and there's just so much cooking all around the globe. This can change in a heartbeat. But for now, it looks like onward and upward. Although the step line has started to hook right. And when the step line hooks right and crosses balloon climbing, we typically see a retracement back to the BBC. And right now the BBC is lined up with the 38% fib extension. Now, the importance of the daily chart. Institutional traders, the ones who actually move price because of the size of their accounts and the size that they trade in, They look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Again, it has everything to do with account size. So whether you trade futures or stocks or crypto or Forex or ETFs, do yourself a favor, and before you begin your trading session, just spend 2 minutes peering over the shoulder of the deep pockets that move price and see what they're doing. Our strategy, our indicators are not designed to outsmart the institutional traders with their infinite resources. However, using our strategy, using our indicators, you can clearly see what the deep pockets are up to, and then you only have to do the same thing long enough to get your goal for the day and exercise the discipline to then put the mouse away. And that's where traders really struggle. How many times have you been up handsomely on a given day? And you're, oh, man, I'm on a roll. And by the end of the trading session, it's a little different picture. There's a reason that we encourage you to get your goal for the day, put the mouse away. Okay? So you learn to exercise that kind of discipline. You're going to have boom, bust trading cycles. You're going to do good for a while, then you're going to suck for a while, and then you'll do good for a while, and then back and forth, back and forth. That's no way to build a successful business. You got to have consistency. All right. Just off the high of the day, we're at 57.87 right now. High of the day is 93.5. Could we make it to the all-time high by the end of the session? Absolutely. You could also see this green candle shrink and turn red. If it gets back to this point here, then it'll become a red candle. It's pushing. It's going back to challenge the high of the day right now as we speak. All alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. Nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose years ago. And if it's not broke, leave it alone. These are the weekly trading zones that were published yesterday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once the weekly zones are published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. The green line, that's the BBC. Simply stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. When price crosses above the green line, well, then we're bullish and anticipate higher prices. Lower prices, higher prices, lower prices, higher prices. That part's pretty simple. Now, the markets are fractal in nature, so the BBC can be applied to a daily chart, a weekly chart, a monthly chart, obviously a 30-minute chart, 5-minute chart, a tick chart, or a range chart. 70% of the time when price encounters a weekly trading zone, you're going to get consolidation. Now, the vertical line right here separates today, Tuesday, from yesterday, Monday. Okay. We opened last night on the south side of that weekly trading zone. Consolidated, bought a little drop. Okay. Right there. Didn't take us all the way to the short target on that move. It did take you far enough to get your goal for the day. It opened at 68.5. and it dropped to 63.75. That's goal for the day for a few days. Now, buyers came in earlier than we expected. Got price above the BBC, and you can see that the CFMA1, which I refer to as blue and climbing, red and falling, blue and climbing, one is bullish, the other bearish. When red and falling turns to blue and climbing, price gets above the BBC and then overcomes this zone. This candle here opened at 77.25 and ran all the way up to 83. Let's call it 78. It's a 5-point run up to the target. We overshot the target, made it almost to the weekly zone above, but not quite. Market found resistance. See that right there? It's Tuesday, Monday, Friday. Back there's Thursday. Okay. So, resistance will send the market looking for support. Pull back to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. Spike down, touched the zone that bounced us into red and falling, which is bearish. That took us down through the zone, down to the short target, and down to the next zone. When price drops to a zone, we expect support. When it rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance, until proven otherwise. Now, right here, price has gotten above the BBC, and red and falling has curled up and turned to blue and climbing. That's extremely bullish. Okay. So price just needs to overcome this high right here. And that's going to take us to the next zone. First, you should expect resistance here. Already we're experiencing a little resistance right at this high. So we got to break through that high and then break through this high. That'll put us at the zone. Okay. So we hit the long target, the short target, and the long target again. On the Dow, here's where we opened last night, and we dropped right to the weekly zone. 70% of the time, you're going to get consolidation. That's what that is right there. 20% of the time, you'll get rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. That's when price slices through a zone like it's not even there on the 30-minute chart. So from here, as we consolidate, red and falling turns to blue and climbing. That gets us above the VBC, gets us up to the zone, consolidation for an hour, and then we hit the long target. Resistance sends us to support, to resistance, to support, to resistance, to support, and we almost made it to the zone overhead. Came a little bit shy. 670, 656, about 14 ticks. Now we're back below the BBC. We just pulled right back up to it. These are not good trading conditions. This sideways, yesterday we went from zone to zone to zone to zone. Just a lot of sideways trade. And we're oscillating around this weekly zone right here. Almost touched this one. We have touched this one. Right here. Just consolidation. On the Russell, here's where we open. Drop right to the short target. Support, Sends us looking for resistance. Got through the BBC, consolidated at the zone. We got a leg and a retracement and a leg that took us all the way up to the long target. Resistance sends us looking for support, which we found at the zone and the BBC. Remember, the pullback holds more often than not. This support sent us back up to the long target. That resistance sent us back to the BBC. On this move, we got stopped by red and falling. That pushes us back down to the BBC and the zone. We hit the long target one more time. Then we get below the zone, and it's a pretty quick drop to the short target. Second time, and we spiked it. Now look how far we spiked this. That was 10:30, the 10:30 candle this morning, 10:30 Eastern. We spiked the zone, but by the time the 30-minute candle closed, we were way back up here. Now we're up against resistance times 2, BBC, and the weekly trading zone. On the NQ, here's where we open. Just kind of struggled sideways. We did reach up, and we're becoming in a tick. Yeah. It's the high of that candle. 95.75. That doesn't look right. Oh, it is. This is the NQ. Yeah, that looks perfectly right. So 95.75. So a few ticks. Resistance sends us back to support. Support takes us up to the zone. We consolidate. We hit the long target. Make a run at the zone overhead. Don't quite get there. Resistance sends us back to support, where we consolidate. Try to rally, but we run into red and falling. That pushes us all the way down to the zone below, where we spiked it 2 candles in a row. This low right here from yesterday is the same low today. Market has a memory. And so from that area of support, we go up through the zone, all the way to the zone overhead, and we've been consolidating now for an hour and a half. 3 30-minute candles. Crude oil. Now, it's a big move for crude from, where did we open last night? 70, we'll call it 70.80 to 71.80. That's $1,000 per contract traded. So we had blue and climbing. That helped us get above BBC, but we ran into the weekly zone, which we expect to be resistance till proven otherwise. So we pull back to support at the BBC. That sends us back up to the long target. Then we continue up to this zone, spike this zone, but now we're rolling over. And most likely we'll head back from here to this zone. Got to take out that low right there first, into the zone. And then right here, watch this bullish cross led to this big extended move. Price gets back to this area, whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, or next month. You should expect that to be good support. Gold. That's where we opened. Made a run up to the long target. Shot through that. Consolidated. And we got above the zone. And then had a huge drop at an odd time of day, 1:30. Put us back below the BBC, but we overcame it. Back to resistance at the zone. Back to the BBC. To the zone. Resistance. To the tick. Pull back to the BBC. Now we've overcome this zone on gold. 26.74. We only have one more zone overhead on gold. It's up at 27.41. Today's only Tuesday. Silver. Big day for silver. When silver moves $1, that's worth $5,000 per contract traded. So last night we opened at 31.02. So we're up about $7,500 per contract traded. Red and falling got below price. On its way to becoming blue and climbing. So you should expect that to be support, proven otherwise. Sun is right up to the target. Back to the zone. Up to the next zone. Where we consolidated, remember, 70% of the time. We drop back to the zone below. Or consolidation. And then this thing really took off about 10:30 this morning. Okay, and look at where we are now. Just from 10:30 this morning at 31.24. This candle, where did it open? Opened at 31.22. At 32.22. That's $5,000 per contract traded. And the euro. Here's where we open. Red and falling. It's below price. Expected to be support. It's probably on its way to becoming blue and climbing. So we struggle a little bit here. At the weekly zone. But we're above the BBC. We got blue and climbing. We got price, step line, blue and climbing. That perfect stack. Takes us right up to the zone. Consolidation. So we get a leg, a retracement, leg, a retracement at that same zone. And then we make it to the next zone, to the tick. Back up in this area right where we were yesterday before the big drop. The euro recovered pretty well yesterday. But then it sold off into the close. But then it picked up and it is attempting to move higher. Your next area for resistance, you got to look way back to Friday. Right here. Once we get above that zone. I've already attempted to get through the zone once. Didn't make it. But now I'm making a second attempt. But right there, market structure says that area. Good chance you'll find resistance there. Back to the daily chart. We're now at 93.5. All-time high is 97.5. And we're currently at 88.25. So it's very possible we put in a new all-time historic high again today. All right, Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room. Then we'll do some live trading on TradingView. And then I'll be back and wrap things up with our good word for the day.
All right. Okay. So here we go.
All right, looks good.
All right. Let me undo that, and undo that, and undo that. And here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 24th day of September, 2024. Oops. Sorry, I was reading something about 2023 a few minutes ago. 2024. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There is no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button. When you do that, you're going to be sent to this registration page where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. There are 5 multiple choice questions you can and should fill out. You have to fill out. And down here, if you have NinjaTrader, you got to give us your machine ID, and if you have TradingView, you have to give us your login ID. You should give us your login ID. All right. If you have either or both of those, give it to us so we can set up the indicators for you and get your indicators indicating on your charts. Now, the spreadsheet. If you are going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, we had a pretty good day today. We got our goal very early on again, and this time we kept it. Today we started out, well, today was, as I said, was the 24th day of, is the 24th day of September 2024. We were up 212 ticks on the NQ, 10 ticks on the Russell. We lost 50 on the YM, and we lost 4 on the ES. Put us 9-10 overall in the morning session. Today I took 2 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $2,160, and we took a total of 14 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're up $14,625. That is over 19 trading days, averaging $914. Now that's with one contract, guys. One contract. Averaging $914 per contract per 2-hour business day. Down here at the bottom on the year, now we're at $84,425. Again, that's with one contract, right? Averaging $471 per day. Now, following the 24/20 blueprint, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and you were to add one contract per month, so far this year, you would have only had to work just under 54 hours, and you would have averaged $2,375 per hour for those 53 hours, right? You followed the 24/20 blueprint all the way through with me, and you finished up last year when I did, and not last year, last month when I did, you would have averaged $521 per hour, right? The whole year and 8 months that it took me to do that, 20 months. All right, that's all that stuff. Let's get into the trades. We'll start out with a YM for again today. I mean, I only had a couple of trades and they both stopped out. This one stopped me out. Come on. This one stopped me out to the tick and then it went down and did what it should do. This one went so close to getting break even for me and then it didn't go enough. Again, I was tempted to just go to break even, but I followed the rules. So here we ended up with a stop out that almost went enough. I think 43, it went down to 82. So I had some slippage on that. I think I had 2 ticks of slip on that. So that almost went enough to get my stop to break even, 1 tick away. And this was 3 ticks away from getting me stopped. Either way, I stopped out twice. And I did everything right. Now, typically you should not stop out twice in the same market consideration. Okay. And usually you're doing something wrong if you do, but I did everything right. It's just a slippage here. I wouldn't have stopped out on that one if I didn't have the slippage. I had slippage on this one too, but it was only 1 tick. Then the market just got sideways. We didn't have anything until right here at 11:01. It was a nice YM trade right there that I missed. Then over here, turned the break. I wouldn't have done anything with that right inside the weekly trading zone. Over here, you could have done this. Now, my argument would be that this one didn't put in a lower swing. This one did, and that was it. So there really wasn't a lot of opportunity today on the YM. On the Russell today, we had just a couple of trades. We had a break even this one. And then on this one, at the end, we picked up 10 ticks on this one right here. And that was where we ended it with the Russell. Now, it should have gone up above this level right here. That's why when I locked in the 10 ticks, it had gotten up to the prior swing high and it was in the weekly trading zone. So it was just at 10 ticks. And I said, so I'm just going to lock in 10 ticks here. And it took me out 10. And it clearly did not go any further. It pulled all the way back to the trade here during the break. That was the Russell today. The ES was very similar. Not a lot happening here with the ES. We had 1 trade right here. We picked up 4 ticks on this one. Was there another trade? It looks like there was probably another trade right here. 1 here and 1 here. But I was really busy with the NQ at that time. And then I got into the lesson plan and I talked a lot during the lesson plan. So I missed everything else that triggered in here. Now it looks like after we got away from the weekly trading zone, going back up right here, there was some opportunity there. move up. Then right here, that move need to put in a higher swing. Then right here, for that move up again, need to put in a higher swing. Then right here, for that move up, again, needed to put in a higher swing. So there's some really good opportunities there on the yesterday. I just got one of them. All right. Now the NQ, which is where we did most of our trading, and this thing just stopped. It's just barely stopping now. I was saying this morning when it did stop, when we got up to the weekly trading zone, right? It didn't there. It's going to do 100% retracement of the day's actions. I think it's done that and then some. See, right over here would have been 100% of the day's movement right here. It's done that and then some. Now that it's done it, it needs to decide whether it's going to continue or it's going to do 50% retracement of what it's done. Again, it's going to be what's in front of us. All right, so today we had, the lesson plan today had leg lengths in it, and leg lengths is normally on Wednesday, but we had BBC and the ribbon, and I added leg lengths in the diamond principal day, because tomorrow's lesson plan is a 2 trades range share, and last week when I did that, I ended up talking for a really long time, so giving myself time tomorrow for that. For any of you guys that are in here right now that are going to be there tomorrow morning, I'll try to rein it in and get it done and all that tomorrow. But we start out here. This is our first trade of the morning. We picked up 40 ticks there, and then another 48 there, and another 48 there. I think it's not. Yeah. And then finally we got just 4. We got us to 148, and 4 more over here. Got us to 152. Then from there got us to 200. 8 more there got us to 208. A break even then 4 there got us to 212. And that is where we ended it. We never this pullback this morning. It never did do this. It just kept going up and up. So once it put in this higher swing, clearly above that level right there, this would have been a really nice trade to take. So I didn't take all the trades that were available this morning, but I did take quite a few. But when you're in a nice trend like this, I mean, as long as it keeps continuing the trend with some momentum like this, getting higher, significantly higher than the prior swing high, like a good length from here to here, higher than the prior swing high, then you're in a good, strong trend. There's just opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Right now, it's doing a retracement of that after consolidating in this last hour, 2 hours, no hour. So we're looking for an opportunity to short right here. It actually gave the opportunity right here. This down close was the opportunity to short right there. So it almost would have stopped me out to the tick if I had taken it. It's right at that point right there where it just about stopped me out to the tick if I had taken it right there. It should have put in a lower swing, but if crunch this up, there is really there's no way to look at this and say 50% is anywhere near in here. 50% of that whole move would be right about here. So it's going to do a 50% retracement. It's got a long way to go on the downside. See right about here. I bump that up right there. We'll see. Now, again, this is one of those cases where really you got to trade what's in front of you. If it gives you an opportunity to trade and it follows all the rules, take the opportunity. Okay. That's what we're going to do here in the next half hour. I do have 2 meetings now scheduled for this afternoon, so I'll have to wrap this up right at 1:30. Okay, so here we go. For anybody that's watching in YouTube right now, if you've not taken free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on this purple button right here. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on the purple button. It will bring you to this registration page. On this page, all we ask for is your name, your email, and right in here, we drop down boxes for multiple choice questions. Fill those out. If you have an inch trader, give us your machine ID. If you have TradingView, give us your login ID. Yeah, both give us both. If you don't have TradingView yet, you should really try to get TradingView. To do that, all you need to do is go here, mytradingaq.com, click on Trading Platforms, and list these instructions right here. It's a 3-minute video. Follow those instructions, and I should probably watch that video sometime soon because I made it. We're on ESH23, so it's a year old now. But it is only 3 minutes and 13 seconds. But I made it with the January 2023 chart. But just go out here to trading platforms, watch this video, right? Get yourself a TradingView account, and then get in there and start trading with us. Okay. This down here, the TV Trade range trigger, which is, it's just critical what we're doing in the room right now. The only way to get that is on TradingView. So you either have to get in the room and watch it in the room on my charts, which you can do, or get TradingView and watch on your charts. Okay. All right. I haven't looked up the question box yet. Let me do that. Let's see. There are no questions over there, and I don't have YouTube open yet either. But it's now 1:06, so we have 24 minutes left. Now I don't know what the rest of the markets are doing in here, but there is one thing I was curious about. The Bitcoin right now, it's got a big doji inside doji day. Lots of indecision right there on Bitcoin. About one more here. Here on this, I guess we'll look at XOM today. So the XOM, I like to look at on a 30 range, and I like to see what it does right at the beginning of the day. Okay, so today, at the beginning of the day, did not give a trade there. Didn't give a trade until the way over here. Right here. And it didn't really go anywhere. 1785 up to 1808. Yeah, it really didn't go anywhere today. Well, we're looking, but it really didn't go anywhere on that first move. Let's go out one more. To 7 is the ZB. Let's see what that's done today. That's a pretty good volatility today. It's a pretty good movement. Nice leg up right there. Another nice leg up there. And that ended up having some pretty good movement today. The ZB. All right. So again, I don't know how big the retracement is going to be, but it looks like things are starting to heat up and consider moving up again. Everything is not putting in a lower swing right here. No lower swing there, no lower swing there, no lower swing here, no lower swing here. So it's possible that I think we just turn up that here. Okay. So on the Russell, we're in a weekly trading zone. We're at the midpoint here on the ES. We bounced off just about the midpoint here on the NQ. And we did bounce off the midpoint over here on YM. Does anybody have any questions about anything right now? Anything? All right. Well, we just have to wait. It's now 1:09. We have 21 minutes of waiting. We could go to a smaller time frame, I suppose, and check things out on a smaller time frame. Let's Let's see. Oh, you know what? John, one of the fellas on the trial, had asked me to look at gold and what time frame I would look at gold on. I don't know if he's in here. Let's see. John is not in here right now. But you can go on the gold, I'm just using the 10 range. Okay, because gold is base 10. So it just makes it easier to do the math. Well, actually a 9 range. Sorry, 9 range. Because it makes it easier to do the math. Do a 9 range because it's base 10. So if the bottom of the bar is right here at 84.25, you'd want to, this is the ES. That doesn't make any sense at all. Gold. Sorry, let me make it gold. GC. And if I do the 1 exclamation, that's the leading contract in gold. I'm not sure if it's December or if it's November gold right now. But anyway, if I make it 9, then we'd be looking at the top of the bar. And if I were selling the down close on this bar, and it is an actual valid trade right now, selling the down close of this bar. So I would put a sell stop limit at 75.0. 10 ticks away from 75.0 is what I'd sell on this. All right, I don't have a gold on them, but maybe I can get one up really quick. Hold it. I'm trying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I gotta close one of these times. That's a crude on that was over there. Let me see. Metals. I don't have a gold. Let's do GC. LZ24. Okay, so the volume on the contract, that was crude, sorry, GGC Z24. Right, so the volume on the Z contract right now is 331,000. That's going to be the right one. So we'll put the DOM on that. 9 contracts, and this is the way you would do it. Okay. Let me just make sure. So I would have, with the gold, I would have a 15 tick stop, 9 tick bracket, probably a 25 tick target. And it's 2.5 points, 25 tick target. So this is the way I would trade the gold. The top of the bar is right here at 76.2. So 75.2 is what I'd sell, just like that. This looks like it's going to pull up more. It's going to get up here to 76.8. Should put it right up here in the ribbon. It looks like that's what it's trying to do right here. And if it does do that, well, then we'll just move this order up. See, we're in the overbought, the ribbon is spread, and there it goes up to 76.8. Okay, so now we're going to just move this up 10 ticks away from the top of the bar. 6, 7, there it is. 10 ticks away from the top of the bar. Did you all understand why I suggested that was going to move up there to 76.8? It wasn't just because the ribbon is there. I mean, that worked out that the ribbon is there, but that's not why. Okay, so here, let me do this. All right, so this is gold. Now, the high of this bar is right here at 76.7. So 10 ticks away from that is where I want to sell. This is a 9 range bar, on gold. All right. It's just, and we're looking for a down close right here. Now, just a minute ago when price was down here, I was for a down close on that bar, but I said it looks like it's going to pull up here because that number is there. It happened to also be the ribbon right there. The ribbon is spread out. You're in the overbought. Price action wise, we've done a retracement. It should actually go up from here. It should go up, but that's based on kind of what we were talking about this morning. Okay, see right here is a 50% retracement, that leg up. So it should continue up. I don't know if it's going to, but it's still got a valid trade set up so far right now. It's got a valid trade set up. All right, so 7.9. If it gives us the trade, we'll take it. it should make it all the way down here to the price swing level. Every single trade that you take should make it to the price or high, depending on what direction you're trading in. Right? As simple as that. Every single trade you take should do that. Now, this is turning into no trade pretty quickly. Do you all, and I said it should go up from here. Do you all understand that? It's going to crunch up the ribbon here probably. It could give us a trade. What's the high area? 0.6. We're going to put this at 0.6. Right? The ribbon is still spread out enough to take the trade right now. I believe it is. It's going to be on this bar. If it doesn't close down on this bar, then it's going to have a trade. This is the last chance. It's at 7.6 down to 76 point. The bar is going to close here at 76.7. But that's what you're looking at right there. Okay. And the ribbon is spread out just enough. See, when you're looking at just one market like this, just following one market, slows everything down. 76. The down close is going to happen right here at 76.7. So my sell stop limit order is waiting right there at 76. Okay. If it closes down, it should pop this out of the overbought and gives the trade, kind of like this one right here. I like it to be more like this, where it doesn't stay in the overbought for any length of time. I'd almost rather have this bar close up than down. Closes down, it's a valid trade, and we'll take it. Okay, it would make more sense for it to close up and continue this move up, the bigger picture move up. All right, we're looking at the little picture right here. But the bigger picture, this is a leg up, this is a retrace, and this is a leg up. So the bigger picture, let me draw that for you. The bigger picture should be here to here. Should be like this. Right? That's what it should do right now. If it goes down, we'll take the trade. But if it doesn't, and it does do the bigger picture, which it should do, then that's what it should do right there. Right? It's going to take it a while to do that. It might take longer than this to get over here. Right? It did close down to sin. Okay, so we're short. Now, follow the rules for that. It slips actually. Right? Our sell stop limit was at 0.72 takes a slip. So, and it screwed up the strategy. So I'm just going to put my stop right there at 0.4. Right, that was kind of awful. Because if we would have gotten in where we were supposed to, we probably would have gotten our stop to break even on that. And then it messed up the strategy too. I didn't mean to have a strategy. But we stopped out. That was okay. I was just saying I wanted it was not down, but if it goes down, it's a trade. Get up here. Now the reason it should take this long. Now I don't know yet how long it should take, because I don't know how long it's going to take for it to complete what it's going to do here. Right? What it's going to do here is get up above this level. Right here. This level. Right here. Okay. How long it takes to get up above that level is how far out this, I suspect, is going to be further out. It's going to be, and it should actually be a little higher than that. That's based on the last leg length. Okay, but it should actually be a little higher than that. Use the diamond principle. It should be a little higher than that. Okay. If you're doing the smaller, I guess you do. I don't know. I guess you could do the smaller version of the diamond principle and say that right here. Let me go for you. This. Right there is come on. What needs to happen like that? That's kind of what you're looking at. Kind of. Not exactly close. The stop that we had around the gold is too bad that it happened that way. Gave us that gap down there. I didn't have time to move the stop to break even, and the strategy was messed up. And it gave me 2 T-clip. If it didn't see, I had myself up on a wing at 6, and from 0.6 down to 0.3, that's longer E-ticks. Still wouldn't have enough to move the stop to break even. I still would have stopped it, really, to avoid that. But right, this is what we're waiting for, and this should actually be moved over. Okay, the distance from here to here is what should be twice this distance. From there to there. Anyway, that's gold, and it's not really giving us anything. So let's look at the markets. The NQ, this is get into the oversold. Didn't get anything anywhere in these other markets either. I also had to stop back over here for right now. Okay, it's not really giving us anything we use. The Russell. See, the weekly trading zones are what's thrown a week because they're so close together. It's going to be worse for next week because we have such tight range this week. Go back at the NQ on the daily. This is the 100% retracement that I was talking about. It did the 100% retracement from all the way down here back up to here. It stopped, it wicked through the weekly trading zone. And now, you guys from the morning session, remember I talked about the head and shoulder pattern. This is the end head and shoulder pattern. This is the head. This is the other shoulder. It just broke the 9 right here. So from here, based on the head and shoulder pattern, it should do this. We should have a really bullish day coming up here. So it should do this. Hang on, for you. This is on the 30-minute chart. All right, wherever it finds support right now over here, and I suspect it's going to find it right about here at some point today, up there. Wherever it finds support, you should bounce off of that this much. Okay, better do over the next day or so. Of course, I don't know what to do, but we're just going to trade what's in front of us, like we always do. All right. What is that? 112. The charts and I can talk. We have nothing there, nothing here. The way this is coming together right now, even if it did pull back and got that into the oversold, we're going to be right there at the weekly trading zone, so you're not going to have anything there. This is going down further than I thought it was going to. Could change it all. Good. Okay, and this whole projection here, this level right here is based on stuff that it's already done. So this is stuff it's already done, but this and this is based upon it getting up above. First, it was up above this level, now it's up above that level. This right here is based upon this getting up above that level. So that's about, this is solid right here. If it's going to go up, it should get up to here about this amount of time. It's a few minutes while we're here. Still, get up to great there. That could happen. I don't know if it's going to. This. Okay. All right. So nothing here that you can do. Nothing here yet that you can do. Nothing here that you can do, and nothing there. It's 1:25 and a half, so we have 4.5 minutes. I don't see any questions coming in here. Miles, I will create a link and send it to you here between now and 2 o'clock. All right. That meeting will be just like this. Okay. If you have a headset and a microphone, we can talk through the computer and we can record the meeting. If you don't, we can just talk on the phone. You can still record it, well, most of it. You can try. Speaking of that, Jill, I have your recording. All right. No trades. Just waiting. Waiting patiently. Trade what's in this. This is gold. I keep thinking it's CES, but it's gold. That's not giving us anything right now, so let's go back to the okay. I'd be happy to cover that with you. And I'll be going into more detail tomorrow or two. And I think I have a recording. Are you Telegram yet, Miles? Get into telegram.org. Okay. I don't know exactly how to get you into channels, but my ID, I'm not exactly sure. And you guys know what my ID is? It's @trading_I_Q, I think, or @trading_I_Q, I think is my ID. Trading IQ. @trading IQ, I think is what it is. I don't know how to figure that out. But we can transfer files in there really easy, big files too, like gigabytes of files, really quick and easy. So I can give you recordings and things like that through Telegram. In the original email that was sent to you when you signed up for the trial, there should have been instructions in that original email. Channels that you have access to and all that. Okay, go check that out. It'd be good to have that information going forward, because we could keep, once people sign up, we do a lot of communication through Telegram and all that, but these are all a whole bunch of Telegram channels right here. Okay, we'll have access to most of those channels. Depending how you sign up. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to spread this out so I can see what got typed in. Yeah, right. Hey, is that me? Trading_I_Q. Thanks, man. That's how to connect to me. All right, and send me a message. Once you do that, send me a message, and I'll be able to connect right back to you. All right, that is it, guys. It is now 1:30, and I do have these next 2 meetings to get ready for it. So I am going to wrap it up and send it back out to Fabulous. Now, before I do that, if you have not taken a free trial lesson here to mytradingiq.com, click on. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that. And it's going to bring you to this registration page where all we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. There are choice questions, and right here gives you an trading machine ID if you have one. Gives you TradingView login ID if you have one. If you don't have TradingView, you should really get TradingView. Right? Get the free version if you have to, but get TradingView. And that's it. With that, I can pass it back out to the fabulous Phoenix, Arizona Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne is ready.
Recap of the morning session.
Today it took 2 minutes and one trade to get to $2,160.
Good job. Alright guys, we'll take one last look at the daily chart. Okay. 93.5 still high of the day. Trading 85.5. All-time historic high, 97.5. Came within 4 points today of tagging the all-time historic high. The step line is starting to hook right. So I could see us popping through that and then a quick failure. Back down to the 38 and the BBC. But not a forecast, just an observation. Okay, for the last 2 days, we've been talking about rebuilding your marriage. So today, part 3. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Psalm 127:1. You must be willing to forgive the other person. Loving someone makes you vulnerable. When you give someone your heart, they can break it. A stranger or casual acquaintance could say something that would roll off you like water off a duck's back. But when your mate says the same thing to you, it can stir up feelings of anger and resentment. No one stays married to anyone without some forgiveness involved. Think about it. Your relationship with God involves needing, asking for, and receiving His forgiveness. In the Lord's Prayer, Jesus taught us to say, "Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors." Then He explained, if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. Matthew 6:12. The word trespass not only means sin, it also means going where you have no right to go. Hence the signs that we see. No trespassing. And we do that to each other in marriage. Familiarity breeds contempt. When you feel continually taken granted for by your mate, it can build up and explode into an argument. Trespassing includes infidelity, among other things. If you don't practice forgiveness in little things, it makes it much harder to extend and receive grace during a crisis. However, if you're at risk in a relationship, it's important to get help and be safe. The art of forgiveness requires letting go of perfection and performance and grasping hold of grace and gratitude. When the Bible says that a man must leave his father and mother, including his culture, background, and family language, and be joined to his wife, developing a new culture, background, and family language, they begin to bond together and become one. Matthew 19:5. But this bonding takes a lot of time and work. It also calls for focusing on what's good in your mate and just forgiving the rest. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.